Welcome to our latest Swampcast. We are here at the Gainesville Sun, where it's colder than it actually was when we were after the South Carolina game on the field, Robbie.
It's colder inside than outside.
It is, but we're persevering and getting our work done for the big game this week, Florida versus the Citadel.
Senior day.
Yeah, it is.
That's the way you got to look at it.
It is, and that's all it's about, really, I think, for Florida. The seniors, Robbie, I know you wrote about them, 10 scholarship seniors. Some of them went through a coaching change. Some of them bought into Urban Meyer's first class. Some of them had injuries they had to overcome. And, this class deserves a big round of applause.
Yeah, Meyer says he's going to get emotional on the field Saturday. There's going to be some tears from the head coach because these guys are all good people who are going to graduate on time. And he feels real good about this group of guys that really bought into what's going on over there.
Yeah, it's not been a team that's been led by seniors. It's been a team led by juniors, but they certainly have contributed a lot, especially when you're talking about both tackles. You're talking about Lewis Murphy, who's had a great year. But there's no question that it'll be an emotional day. Not only that, Robbie, it's George Edmondson's last game.
Yeah, which is a big one too. And his first game where he started doing this was against the Citadel too. So
it was, and that's where he went to school too.
Yeah.
So that part of it, and then the other thing, Robbie, you got 3 juniors who may be playing their last game in the Swamp, and I think a lot of fans are going to go to the game just for that. That they want to be there just in case it's the last time for
Tebow's last game.
Tebow's last game, Percy Harvin, Brandon Spikes. I think we believe both of those guys will leave, but you want to be there for that.
Yeah, you definitely do. And it's a big game for a lot of the young kids too, because 2 years ago they played Western Carolina. After the first quarter, it became the future of Florida football was playing the game, and I think you're going to see that again in this game. And I'm looking forward to seeing what John Brantley does. And what they should do, Pat, is let him work with the first team offense for a little bit to see. When he's done with the second group, it's hard. I think give him the first group for a little bit and see what he does.
Well, and that's the big question in a game like this late in the season, is how long do you play your starters? How long do you stick with Tebow? My thing is, I think Urban is going to take the philosophy that it's another football game, and that they've got. If you say, "Oh, it's just the Citadel," well, that goes against everything you believe in.
Well, that's the thing. He takes the same approach no matter who you're playing, and that's why every practice on Tuesday is brutal. Wednesday's hard too. It's the same this week, I'm sure. So you don't want to get off of course. Is what they're on a good roll right now. You want to keep that up somehow. That's
another thing, with Urban. I know when I talked to him after the LSU game, he was talking about the bye week, and he was afraid it was going to zap their momentum. I think that's another reason you'll see the Stars probably play longer than a lot of you believe they should, because he wants to keep that momentum going.
Yeah, he wants to keep them in the groove they're in right now. But if I'm the head coach, I think Tebow 1 touchdown, maybe 2. If it happens in the first 5 minutes, I put Tebow and the rest of the guys on the bench.
Well, you're not going to see Tebow run a whole lot in this game, I wouldn't think. You can get hurt in practice. So I would caution people if somebody sprains an ankle and say, "Oh, he shouldn't have been playing." You got to go out there and play with your team.
Yeah, I looked back on the Western Carolina game just a little while ago, and Leak threw a touchdown pass in the second quarter. So it wasn't 1 quarter and out. They played a little more than a quarter.
Oh, they're gonna. I will predict 2 things. One, that the starters will play the entire first half. Secondly, that Brandon James is going to come up big in this game. We haven't seen a lot of Brandon. Of course, the punts never get to him. You can't return them. But he had the one nice punt return late in the South Carolina game. But with his athletic ability against the guys he's going to be going up against.
It could be a mismatch.
Yeah, I think that you're going to see him run one back. That's my prediction.
Could he leave early, Pat, too? He's the guy we've kind of neglected on the leave early. Could he leave early?
Well, I don't think so, because you're talking about a guy who's small and obviously he's a very good returner, but in the NFL, you want to get a guy who can also play tailback, and I don't think he's an NFL tailback. No. But it may be something he's going to think about. So.
But he can cover punts as well as return them too.
That's true.
Special teams guys.
But usually it works the other way, where you have a guy. If we're going to get this guy, we need him to play special teams. Not we got to get a special teams guy and hope he can fit in somewhere. Yeah. But hey, I've seen some strange. In fact, Urban told me yesterday. He said, Florida leads the nation. Juniors leaving early. So
we kind of felt that way, or kind of seemed that way.
Well, we've seen some that it just baffled you, and some that made a lot of sense. But we'll see. No need to worry about that now. Florida, of course, with 3 games left, 2 big games left. Well, 4 games left.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're going to go to a bowl.
Yeah, I think they've qualified for that.
They've qualified. So obviously this game, then FSU and Alabama. We'll come back next time. We'll be talking about the game against the Citadel when we are at the Swamp for the last time this year. And then, of course, next week we'll preview the big game against the mighty Seminoles out west. Until then, this is Pat Dooley and Robbie Andreu, the Gainesville Sun, saying so long from the newsroom.